Kilrush, I suppose, and the Shannon Estuary must seem like strange or distant memories to you at this stage.
Well, it's over 2 years since I left Kilrush, and I've seen many beautiful places. So, I forget it.
All right. You're about 2 years and 3 months approximately since you left the Shannon Estuary, which seems, I would think, to have taken you about 3/4 way around the world. Could you take us through those stages or through moments of it that come to your mind?
Well, a whale tried to mate with my boat off Madeira. I broke a rib 5 days before I got into Cape Town, and I was escorted in by a pod of whales, and from there to Australia was more or less uneventful. But from Australia to Tasmania, I met the roughest weather. I fell off a wave at 2 o'clock in the morning and a porthole broke, and I got a belt of a fire extinguisher and the fire with blood everywhere. But I got in 2 days into Tasmania, and then from Tasmania to New Zealand was nice. I only met one gale in 20 days. But it was the roughest and the longest leg was across the Pacific to Valparaiso, and I got a bit of mass damage. But yeah, you forget the bad days.
Yeah. Your modesty is something that has always shone through when you're asked about your, what we would call your harder or your rougher days or nights at sea. What keeps you going when you decide to leave a port to go to another port or a continent to another continent? What is your motivation to actually carry on?
I just love it. Yeah. You know, they say, how do you stick it being solo? But being solo is, to me, very natural. You know, I like it. I'm never alone out there. I have birds, and I'm at home in the ocean. And you're busy. The only thing is, that you look forward to getting into land again. You look forward to fresh food and looking at senoritas with dark eyes and long eyelashes. And you know, when you're at sea, you say, I might have told you, you know, you become like a hermit.
You mentioned earlier on that you ran into some whales. Can you describe that for us? Because it's just something that I suppose, not seeing it, it's very hard to take it in, you know, as to what it's like.
Yeah, the first time I saw a whale going to America in '86, I saw a pod of whale, big whales, and they were only about 200 yards away, and I was very nervous. But after that, they didn't harm me, and they're lovely mammals, I must say. They're beautiful, powerful. The way they can move through the water and play, and yeah, they're nice. Everything at sea is nice, bar bad weather.
Yeah, and you said that some whales tried to mate with your boat?
One male, I don't know whether he thought I was a boy or a girl, but he was very near the boat, yeah.
Yeah. And how, like, would you feel threatened or frightened, or are you calm
You'd
with
be
it?
a bit nervous.
Yeah.
You'd be glad to see him gone away.
Obviously, we're all aware of like that you bring various restricted provisions, etc., etc., or you're away from your home or your environment. What is it like that overall, not necessarily the requirements of food, but what is it you would miss most of all when you're out in the oceans?
Can't tell you.
What what keeps you company in terms of your mental occupation or your physical occupation? What keeps you? What's your best company when you're alone at sea?
Books. I read a lot. Sometimes you don't get any time. I keep a journal at sea too, along with my log. And you're cooking, you're doing everything the housewife will do, and you're navigating, you're changing sails. You kept going.
You've mentioned some of your more trying moments, I suppose, at sea, which is what everybody seems to think about. What would you think is, are particularly, say, the worst moment or moments you've had?
That knockdown was the worst, because I'd water coming into the cabin.
This was on the Tasman Sea, yeah?
About 60 miles off the southern cape of Tasmania. That was the worst. But then, once you get over it, you forget it. I remember passing the Juan Fernandez Islands, about 300 miles out, Rick, yeah? And I got 4 days of beautiful, sunny, and the wind didn't change, and I hadn't to touch a sail for 4 days, and I did over 100, 120 miles a day. That was good.
Good stuff. I suppose then to take the other polarity to your worst, you must obviously have some beautiful experiences and beautiful sights or very special days or experiences. Could you recount one or two of those for us?
You know, you never get the same sunset or sunrise, and they're beautiful. You'd have to be out there to appreciate them, the sunsets and sunrise. You've a lot going for you out there, you know, that you don't realise, and you have bird life all the time, and the sky is always different cloud formations. And, yeah. Lovely.
When you come on land, having been like, say, when you cross the Pacific to Valparaiso, Chile, how do you find readjusting to being a land bird again, or do you settle easily or not?
No problem. Takes you about 5 days to settle in, but no problem.
The other countries you've been to, you've been in Madeira, you've been in South Africa, Albany, Albany, Australia, Tasmania, New Zealand. You didn't have any language barrier in those countries, and arriving as, I could say, a total stranger, but yes, a very personable man. When you arrived in Chile, I know you met very good hospitality, but how did you find the language barrier? Did you find it isolating or?
A bit awkward, but people are nice and can always make sign language. And a bit difficult at times, but I'm getting used to it now. I went into a supermarket one time looking for eggs, and I couldn't find them, so I went up to the assistant and I said, "Whoop, whoop, whoop, whoop." They brought me over to the chickens, yeah.
Your exercise on board, I know you've said when you get ashore sometimes that your legs are not quite as strong as you would be. Do you exercise or not on board? No.
Never. You get enough exercise, hauling up in sails. Your arms get strong.
From reading the various logs that you've sent to home to Ireland on your various legs of your journey, one of the aspects I've noticed is what I would see as a reader of it is that your boat seems to be very much a part of you. I wonder if you could elaborate that feeling for us.
Well, your boat is your lifeline to land, and you're careful of it and you mind it, and it becomes a part of you. I remember when I sailed to America in '86 and I put the boat up for sale, and I looked at the boat when I was leaving it, and you know, I was just lonely because she had carried me safely over many waves.
In your other boat, the Inish Caltra, that you had to abandon 1,200 miles west of Cape Town, when you wrote about that particular journey, you spoke a lot. You had to steer by tiller rather than the wheel, and you seemed to speak very affectionately about this tiller as if it was like your right arm. Is the boat and everything that goes with it that much a part of you?
Well, all the boat is a part of me. It's hard to say, but I know that, you know, I have to say this after a day, you know, and I used to usually go to sleep at sunset and get up at sunrise. That when I lay down in the bunk, if the weather was reasonably good, it's very nice, you know, satisfying. And if you're on course and have a good wind.
So how is the boat now?
Oh, A1.
A1, yeah, you're quite satisfied with it.
She's a very strong boat. Yeah.
Is the trip? Sorry, go ahead.
I have great confidence in the boat. She might be ultra fast, but she'll get you there. people think, you know, when I spent 124 days crossing the Pacific, but I was 114 days coming to South Africa for many years. But I never felt that time. What I felt was that you were worried and that you didn't know. But I didn't know that Christy told me that a ship must have seen me 1,000 miles from the Cape of Horn.